And basically, we're going to talk about clams. No, I'm just kidding.
Clan. You never
All
know.
you
You
can
never
eat.
know.
It's a clam bake night. No. Uh, sadly, no. Uh,
Pass it around. Pass it around.
but I was going to talk about, we were talking earlier before the show about, because Chris and I have been getting to know each other over time because, we haven't just met or anything like that. We met a few months back or whatever. But about things that we have in common, like we've both actually worked with the sorceress herself and read her
Yes.
books, students of her work, things like that, sigil work, talking about magic and things like that, and other practitioners and the um, like bringing up people from medieval past and even current present. But even to this day, I mean, admittedly so, with all the research that I know that I've done, I've actually not run across anybody who can show their work as well and as professionally as the sorceress herself. And that's just my personal, but and I've met quite a few people that are that profess to do similar things, but she's really the real deal to me.
He is totally the real deal. And like we were talking about, it's like there are very few people, and I can count them on my hand, and it won't take up the whole hand, that can show me sorcery or magic in real time. And I think that is one of the things she's promoting now, right?
Yes.
Um, Doing sorcery in real time. I think she has a sedation for that.
Yes.
And you can find out about her at her website, which is cagliastrotheironring.com, and see what
Mm-hmm.
she has to offer. And of course, we're going to talk about more of that later, but she is the real deal, folks. There are very few people who, in my experience and yours, that can actually prove that magic is real
Mm-hmm.
in their presence. And for sure, she has done that with me. And, I'm a better person for knowing her. It's no
Yes.
question, like we were talking about there's just, yeah, I said, well, I say there's a lot of things I would credit to, and you say, well, what is it? But overall, in a nutshell, is, my life has just gotten better since I've known her. Put it that
Mm-hmm.
way in simplistic form, because
Yeah.
there are so many things we worked on and talked about, and beyond things we did magic for. She's extremely inspiring,
Yes.
and will help you get in the right direction in your life and cut through the BS with a quickness,
Exactly.
you
Mm-hmm.
know. So,
She's another
no,
one of
that's really good.
those great teachers that are no nonsense. Like last week, you and Clarissa had Eric Werner on the show, and he's another one of my favorite teachers. I actually took his one of his master classes this last summer, and I learned a whole bunch about myself that I learned to correct on my own through his program. And Eric Werner is one of I love no nonsense. Let's get down, and he was another one of your guests that was really good.
Thank you. I loved having him on. We've had him on. He's our MVP. We've had him on 3 times now
Yeah.
in total. Yeah, we love Corvus. And every time we can talk about something completely different, which is
Mm-hmm.
which is awesome. He just has this massive computer in his head, and when you crack the code and just let that thing spill open onto the radio, it's like that's a lot of programming, man. You're going to hear some stuff, and yeah, he's awesome, so well spoken, and a good guy. Really good guy.
Yeah, exactly. And while we're kind of paused here, I'm going to remind you that we do take station breaks here. And I know some people aren't quite used to that format quite yet. And so we're going to pause right here for a moment, and we'll thank you for listening to Hidden World and hanging out just for a moment because it is 9:19. It's going to be about 9:20 in a few seconds. And you are listening to WBHM-DB.com, Paranormal Experience Radio, and The Hidden World with Chris Carr.
Son of a
Hey, son.
mother.
Son, what are you doing?
Hey, Mom. I'm getting ready to listen to Periscope Uncensored.
By expanding your vocabulary.
Well, it is uncensored.
Son, the uncensored part of Periscope Uncensored is Jax and I getting down to brass tacks with all aspects of the paranormal. There's no fluff on our show.
So, no off-color commentary?
I didn't say that.
Awesome!
Son?
I just hit my head.
Oh boy, I'll go get you an ice pack. Catch Periscope Uncensored Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
When you come on to me, you feel like the sun. Watching through my senses, you're the only one. When you do that to me, you feel like the sun. And I just want to know you're the only one. When you come on to me, it feel like the sun. I just want to know you're the only one.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 23 minutes after the hour.
And thank you for listening to WBHM-DB.com Paranormal Experience Radio. This is Seraphine Hurley sitting in for Clarissa Vasquez here with Mr. Chris Carr, the one and only. Our special guest tonight will be Sorceress Cagliastro, and this is a live show tonight, so we'd love to see you in our chat room and everything else here. So here we are. So Chris, it is 9:23 here, and so we want to talk about magic. Do we want to talk about
I thought
paranormal
we'd talk
fishing? Do we want
about
to talk
paranormal fishing. Captain Carl in the chat room there seemed to be a little upset that we were talking about fishing, but we do some things outside of paranormal because I think the paranormal takes up a lot of our time. It's not just investigations. If you're a practitioner and you're into the sorts of things we're going to be talking about tonight, the idea of discarnate dead people around you and things of that nature is not an unusual thing. It's more like, how far can we push that? How can we get those communications going?
Exactly, and without going too far and exacerbating the spirit itself, for example, and making ourselves super tired. Like, what do we need to try? It's like, I have the SB4, I have the SB7, I've got a whole bunch of toys and tools. It's like, but you know what? Sometimes the best tool that you have is actually yourself. And I just called myself a tool.
We're all tools, or else we wouldn't be doing this. But you're right. You're right. And it is that us that really makes the thing happen. And I've said this before on the show. We're stuck with like our five senses, and trying to understand the messages or the energy that comes across to us. It's living in a way, and we can play with these tools and they entertain our senses. But the real communication that happens when it happens, it goes beyond those kind of things, and you and I have talked about the ways we do that. For myself, I get this sort of stream of consciousness thing where I just see images, I see pictures, words, phrases, sounds I can kind of hear to a degree, and I just know that this is something that's outside of myself, and my brain is able to interpret that because that's what I'm able to see.
Right.
And for yourself, I think you're more visual, and you actually, will see the apparition, you'll see the look, or at least the look that maybe that it wants to give you.
Oh yeah, I've seen some crazy, crazy looks, or I've heard some stuff and then turned around and had something be right in my face. And I don't know if the face and the voice were the same person or they were two separate. But if that was one of those moments that was going to be a little on the creepy side for me, that was like, okay, so you're giving me the face, which, as a lot of us know, as investigators, a lot of times spirits will choose the form that they reveal themselves. Some of them are kind of stuck in the form that they have. A lot of them haven't figured out how to manipulate how they look. Some of them are just misty forms or shadows or whatever, what have you. And some of them actually can turn themselves from one way to the other. And I had this one that was like this disembodied torso with a face that I couldn't see the head or the ears or the arms, but I definitely could see the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, and they were not happy.
Right. And maybe that is what they wanted to present, a bit of unhappiness there.
And it's like, so, okay, so I saw you, and it's like, was that you that I heard? Nothing. And that's the times that's really frustrating when you're an investigator, when it's like, okay, so I see you, I've got some photos, I've got some EP, and one of these things doesn't go with the other. I need more information so that I can go a little further, so I can put these two and two things together, because those two things may not necessarily be the same,
Right, exactly.
Which kind of is a little on the cuckoo, befuddling side when you really think about it, because we're constantly looking for the truth, and we're constantly debunking some of the stuff that we even find when we have worked. Let's say you've worked like a month or more on a case for somebody, and then you completely find all of this really awesome information and all of the stuff that you've gotten, all of the data. And then three quarters of it ends up gone because you debunked it through some other means or form of happening within that person's world that has nothing to do with the paranormal. That stinks.
Yeah, that is reality.
And it happens.
I would say it's even higher than 3/4.
Yeah,
It's
I was
hard
being fair.
to get. Yeah, giving us hope, man.
I was trying not to be defeatist.
Right. Well, it is tough, and the book I have with Clarissa, we talk about psychosomatic pareidolia, and honestly, it really is a lot of the evidence that's out there, and a lot of the stuff that gets put out in the Facebook feeds and on YouTube, and it's all things that are. I'm sorry, my son just walked in the room. Hi, boy, I'm on live radio. Can I sign that a little later? Leave it on the table, please. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. I guess he forgot I was doing this. And,
all right, it's life. It happens.
We have live radio from the comfort of our own homes, and this is what we do. I still have to sign school papers, and deal with demons. That's what I do.
Adulting.
That's called adulting, right?
Exactly.
So, where was I?
You're talking about
evidence
pareidolia and evidence and
typically
stuff that
a lot of pareidolia. Yeah.
like Facebook and
The things you
social,
can prove out.
so-
And
yeah,
you can
social
prove these
media.
things out with reflections and different things.